What's up, everybody? It's your girl Ericka from the Classic Clown Blog. I'm out and about, and you know we're been like 6 weeks, 6 cities. We're tired. We got 2 more weeks of travel, but I'm super excited to see you guys August 25th in Atlanta, GA. Listen, let's go ahead and hit it up. New York workers going to office 15% more than the rest of the nation. That's right, New York city workers are going to the office more than 15% of the nation. And I'll tell you why. Connection, community, and New Yorkers feel it first, right? The hustle and bustle to get up, to move, to get out of the house. Again, their housing is substantially small, right? I'm talking about living in cardboard boxes. And so this isn't the South for them, right? The South, where people got 3-bedroom, 3 baths, they've got huge backyards, they're grilling out, they're cooking out, they got space, coffee shops, you know, which New York has a ton of coffee shops. That's not what I mean. But as far as a spacious atmosphere at their home location, they do not have it. Majority of New Yorkers do not have it. Majority of New Yorkers are not living in a brownstone that they completely own and it isn't chopped up into smaller pieces, okay? So when you hear this, immediately my head goes, but wait, I just saw a clip, and Peter hopefully will put it somewhere over here, of the New Yorkers, the black homeless men in New York. They won't let them into the shelters. The shelters are just full of immigrants and new people coming, and they won't let them in. And I said, man, that's crazy. You know, that's crazy. But the first thing my thought process is, in that same breath, in that same vein, is it's really so simple. And people hate it when I say this on this channel. They hate it. They're like, Ericka, it's so much complicated. There's so many layers. The simple answer is the truest answer. If you're in New York and you're about to go homeless, you need to figure out how to leave. How do you leave? You join the military service. There's over 700 jobs in the Army. There's, I can't remember how many is in the Air Force and Navy. Like, the whole mantra that, I don't want to be a cook or a janitor in these armed forces, that's an old rhetoric. There's so much technical, medical, health related, and cybersecurity related free cybersecurity training in the military. And so when I hear these stories of homeless black New Yorkers, and let's clarify, there's 100,000 before the immigrants came, there were 100,000 homeless New Yorkers. And out of that 100,000, I think there was a either additional or added on, they're trying to do the math, 17,000 homeless children. So the school was kind of keeping track of what children were homeless. COVID made that very scary. So that number may be double that. That's why when we talk about human trafficking and children going missing, it's hard to have the most accurate data because we have 17,000 homeless children in New York. Okay. And so I saw a couple videos this week of people saying they're working 3 jobs and 4 jobs and they're doing all these different things. But really, when it boils down to it, if you ask the person who works their 3 jobs, what is the income they're desiring? What is their bills that they're trying to cover as far as either their rent, their student loans, their car payment, right? Which at this point you should have paid off car. You shouldn't, you know, and people are going to say, no, Ericka, you know, you don't understand. These cars, these older cars are no good. Man, I see them Toyotas and Lexuses still working just fine. Many, many years, okay? You should be saying to yourself, what can I do in place of, right? To me, when I hear New Yorkers don't understand the stock market, that kind of boggles my mind because of the stock market being there, like it's an integral part of the city. And the fact that it's not like massively taught in their school system kind of blows my mind. But that aside, you need to leave, right? It's the same with Chicago. It's the same with Connecticut. It's the same with DC. It's the same with Los Angeles. It's the same with San Francisco. There is this kind of, I'm going to stick around and be in the motion. Like, I'm in the vibe. I'm moving around the city. There's opportunity. Any day now could be my lucky lottery number. And honestly, no. If you're in the motion and you're not swimming, right? And the motion is jobs, opportunities, connections. What's going on, right? And a lot of people are saying, well, Ericka, they don't have money to go out to happy hours and network and connections. There's so many countless free opportunities to network and be in associations and be of service and be of a volunteering status to people and organizations. That really isn't an excuse anymore. And you really can't hold it as an excuse. It doesn't work. So part of my issue with that is New Yorkers are going to work because their housing is small. New Yorkers are going to work because they are in a very competitive environment. Anybody in the top 20 cities in the United States are going to be in competitive environments. When I hear the kind of negative America talk, America sucks, or America's traffic, or America's neighborhoods aren't gorgeous kind of conversation, 9 times out of 10, the person is an immigrant and they visited New York, Chicago, or California and stayed in the worst parts and lived in the worst parts and visited the worst parts, right? They didn't see the complexity of this whole country.
This is Brandy Williams, owner of Williams Accounting and Tax Services. We're located in McDonough, Georgia. For those who are in the Atlanta area, that is 75 South, exit 218, and make a right. We're a trilingual office. We offer services in Spanish, English, and Hindi. We also offer a tax course starting August 1st all the way through April 30th. It is bilingual. We service in Spanish and English.
And even now, as I'm down here in this military town, we just had an 80-year-old birthday party. And then we also had, unfortunately, a friend of the family, their father died. And part of what was crazy about their story is their father came from New York, very poor, and met the mother who's from this region, married her. They have 2 houses here. Then their daughter, got married, military man, and he was stationed and retired in Columbia, or a little bit further than Columbia, South Carolina. Well, then they went down there because they want to be around their grandchildren, and they have 3 houses. So this man who was extremely poor from New York came down. Now you're going to say, well, Ericka, those were different times. The prices were different. The interest rates were different. You're gonna throw me 9,000 scenarios of where everything was so different. But the truth remains is these houses that are in some of these cities, these smaller cities, Columbia, the edges of Charleston, Fayetteville, Hope Mills, Parkton, parts of Raleigh before now, these prices were $80,000 houses. These prices were at most $100,000 house. There literally is a neighbor across the way from my mother who is a tech guy from Raleigh who was like, I looked online and saw this house is only $200,000 and I get an acre of land and I got a backyard and I got a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And he was like, I bought it. Right. And you may think, well, that's crazy. I wouldn't, work remote when I can live in Raleigh. But that's not what most people are looking for. The average American is looking for the American dream. And again, I'll give you the old American dream was I just have a house and a car and a pretty good job. And when I hear that, I'm like, did that ever make sense? Like just a house, just a car? Now, if you're in the South, if you know anybody in the South, or you know people in the Midwest, especially the Midwest, Detroit places, as long as you had a house to go to, as long as these people had a big mama's house, a big grandpa's house, or whoever's house to go to, they were doing pretty good. That did qualify as the American dream. They had this shelter that they could fight for. Okay. But as you look up, the number one question I hear in older Black Americans, especially on the internet, especially in some of these shows, some of these radio stations, is talking about their retirement. And how they're gonna get there and how they're gonna pay their house off when if you're in your 60s and 70s talking about retirement, you should already have a paid off house. That's the epitome of the retirement. It's like, oh, the house is paid off. House paid off, that's done. Car's paid off, that's done. Now, what is the reoccurring income? It can't just be your Social Security check. Is it some type of pension? Right? If someone said they don't have a pension, let's just be really honest. The people who work at the light company get a pension, right? They get some type of retirement. Nurses get some type, the level of skilled labor gets a lot of retirement in this country. Now, let's say, just for sake of argument, your auntie, your uncle, your grandma didn't work in a skilled position that would provide retirement. Great. What is their true retirement? It's a paid off house. It's a paid off car. It's being able to afford food in their house and their light bill. Right? That's the bare bones, low level retirement. Right? And that's why a lot of New Yorkers don't experience that or don't understand that, because that's not happening where they live for a lot of them. Right? So what's the kind of push there? What's the push to address that? How do we help people see that the American dream and them working is somehow connected, right? Right? Because these people tell me, like, Ericka, who wants to live in Ohio? Who wants to live in South Carolina, Florida? Who wants to live down south? You guys live like slaves and something down there. And it's just comical, the comments I read online. But truly, you can't afford Chicago. Chicago don't even want you there. You're not contributing to their society. You're not adding to the beauty of Chicago. You're not adding to the wealth of Chicago. Your kids are not going to go perform and be next level up. Again, if anything, your kids are going to be same level as you, if not lower.
Atlanta, what up? If you want to find the easiest way to make money online, come to InvestFest and check out the Ticket Plug. Come join our ticket resale community. Don't sleep on us in the vendor marketplace. We aren't one of the headliners, but we have a life-changing opportunity for those coming to learn new ways to invest and build a business. It's time to learn how to sell tickets online and never in the streets. It's the Ticket Plug at booth number 421 at the vendor marketplace.
That's why all these studies, they're like, oh my goodness, our children are doing less than we were. What have you prepared them for? What are they invested in? It's crazy, right? So part of my conversation with a lot of people is this kind of retirement push, which is good. They should assess at their age how I'm going to retire. But the biggest thing they need to assess is, what is the trade? What is the skill I'm going to have that can propel the income to retire, right? It's almost like people wake up at 55 and say, my back hurt, I don't want to do this no more. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That is unfortunate that this conversation has not graced your mind. What is his name? Posted a video. He posted a video that he rents a room at his house in Charlotte, and there was a 50-plus-year-old woman, Gucci head to toe, BMW, and she had a Gucci mirror. He had moved into the house, and of course, all of a sudden she's wanting to leave her really good job in her 50s and start a resale business where she's reselling stuff online. And he goes, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. You should probably keep that job. So of course, what does she do? She quits that job, and reselling takes a hit for her. And now I don't know where she got all this Gucci stuff. I don't know what thrift shop, she's been picking up all these items from. But at the end of the day, she couldn't make that work. And common sense would say, in your 50s, you don't have a home, you're renting a room from a stranger, and you're Gucci head to toe, and you're in a BMW. This is not the path to retirement. It's just not. What can we do to help you get there? And unfortunately, for a lot of people, this is going to be their wake-up time. The next 2 to 3 years in our country, you're going to look up, and people who just got here are going to be in a better financial position than you. And it doesn't take a lot of money to do that, right? I really could pick out and show you house after house on realtor.com that are very low priced. You can get in that house and have a very low price mortgage payment. There's over 5,000 mortgage programs in this country. And you could actually do well just being able to have the monkey off your back of high rent, right? And there'd be some kind of longevity there. And so unfortunately for a lot of people, they don't want to hear that, but that's kind of where they're going to be. I saw a video where a guy was saying he's working 3 jobs. And again, it's just like that. The math doesn't make sense. What's going on, dude? You gotta figure that out for yourself, right? What was the other thing I had in my notes? Again, DELL layoffs. Again, people didn't want to go to office. They sent out a survey, and more than 50% of people remote were like, no, I'm good. Now, DELL has been notoriously known for laying off huge numbers of people every freaking quarter. Like, this is what they do. They lay off huge numbers of people. And this is nothing new. Now, DELL, I had a friend who worked there for almost 20 years. He even said when he was at DELL, they encouraged people, hey, Monday and Friday, just go ahead and have off. Why did they want people to go ahead and have Monday and Friday off? Because so many people would request Monday and Friday sick days off, paid time off on Monday and Friday, that they just got sick of it and were like, hey, listen, just take Monday and Friday and work remote, right? And then they would give people a stipend to create an office from home, right? You got maybe like, I think he said he got like $1,400 to, get a desk, get some setup so he could have a office from home. And so DELL set up this environment for a long time of like, hey, we're going to give you a little bit. But like with anything, you give a little bit, they're going to take a mile, right? People are not going to just go, thanks, DELL. That's really, that's really nice. You're already giving us Monday and Fridays. We're chilling. This is very considerate of you guys. I'm excited about it. No, people wanted the whole chicken. as they would say. And so, unfortunately, Dell laid off because they have office all over the United States and international. Now, one of the comments that cracked me up in the comments was like, "Oh, Ericka, ain't nobody want Dell, it's Apple or something like that." And no knock to you, I get it. In your environment, wherever you're working, you're seeing a lot of Apple computers. But as a person who has family who work in university and education, every computer within that building, all like 500 rooms in the couple buildings there are, it's Dell computers. It's nothing but Dell computers. If you go look at majority of offices, Home Depot, I'm talking about HEB, I'm talking about Lowe's, they're Dell computers. And if they're older than what you think, there may be a few HP computers, right? And so a lot of times what I think people don't understand is like the massiveness of how many universities are out here, how many banking institutions, how much the airport uses Dell computers. So they have these big government contracts. They have these big university contracts. Tech sales, a lot of people think tech sales mean I'm selling to these little mom and pop shops, these computers and software. No, 9 times out of 10, your tech sales is either a company you already have some software with, and you're trying to get them to get more software. You're trying to get them to get more equipment. You're trying to get them to update their whole office. And hey, you got computers from us 10 years ago, but you should get all new computers from us. You should invest in our new stuff. All right. Now that works in an up economy. When it's a recession, offices are like, nah, we're not buying any new software. We're not buying any new equipment. We're not buying any new computers. We're on a hold. We're on a hold. You got to show me where this software will bring more money to our office. If you can't show me where this software will bring more money to our office, or stop us from getting hacked, or stop us from having issues, I'm not buying your software. And that's a pretty, I get that, right? So that's been my 2 cents on Dell, and people saying, well, who cares about Dell? Dell quit trying to have cool computers for people a long time ago. Dell has a whole gaming community they focus on, where you could build your Dell and have this super powerful computer that you created. Yeah, Dell has that. You know what I mean? Dell does have that, right? And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool for the gamers. That's cool for all those people right there, right? Another thing, Microsoft is building a $468 million data center. You guessed it, Central Texas, Austin, Texas, Round Rock, probably somewhere around those parts. And as people say, well, is Austin okay? I was out here and I went to one of my nephew's soccer games, and one of the parents was like, oh, I was stationed out in San Antonio. So I was like, all right, what's that mean? Right. And one dude's like, I was stationed in Killeen. I'm like, that's not Austin. And all of them were like, well, is Austin okay? And I laughed because I wanted to be like, yeah, dude, it's absolutely bustling. And if you were stationed 10 years ago in Texas, you wouldn't even recognize Texas if you drove through it. You wouldn't even recognize Killeen if you went to it. And a lot of these people have had the enlightenment of being military and being moved to multiple cities, but also the scarcity factor, right? What do I mean? They worked in government for so long, like government will pay your bills. 1st and the 15th, the government got the check. 1st and the 15th, you don't have to worry. And so working out in civilian world, non-government world is scary to those folks. That's what I'm seeing more and more as I talk to them. It's like, oh, I'm trying to go to work at the post office. Oh, I'm trying to work at the VA. Oh, I'm trying to work where I can guarantee a paycheck. And it's like the military, unfortunately, for some MOSs, not all, has kind of fostered this ability of I'm just showing up. I showed up. I should get paid. I'm sitting around all day. I still should get paid. Again, a lot of times I go to any type of business, any type of hospital, there is a significant other people just kind of standing around on their cell phone, half doing the job, half doing the cell phone thing. Only time I've noticed people even being super paying attention is car shops, mechanic shops. And I know they have a lot of downtime, but I'm talking about the mechanics are eyeballs deep into the car, right? Even on construction sites along the highway, I-35, I've seen guys on their cell phone. So it's that running joke, like, sis, if he ain't text you back, he just ain't that interested. They on their cell phones all day, nonstop, right? It just ain't that important to them. Part of the problem is these people looking for security must realize the security comes from themselves, right? The security comes from you increasing your skills, increasing your net worth, increasing your value, increasing what you have to offer a company. Because a lot of these companies don't want to go through the hiring process. They'll keep a toxic, bad worker on for years. So at least be of use, be of service, if that makes sense, right? I hope that made sense for y'all. But where you are you hearing layoffs? Let me know. Please put it in the chat. I look at a lot of the data. I also like the WARN notices. Is WARN notices that let you know where companies are laying people off. They've been letting you know for years. Companies have to give the government a kind of warning, a heads up. Another big one that we haven't talked about is Kellogg's. Okay. Kellogg's is laying off, is closing a warehouse in Nebraska. It has like 500 jobs. They're also closing one, I think, near Dallas or near Oklahoma, one of the two. And so the one they're clearly closing in Nebraska, people are like, oh my God, Nebraska never gets hit with layoffs and the recession. This is going to be horrible. This is going to be depression. Let me be very clear. The Kellogg's is not laying off or closing until the end of 2026. If you are at Kellogg's right now and you bought a new car or you bought a new house, you got 2 years, 24 months to stop the bullshit. No vacations, no nothing. Straight pay everything off. And I were you, I'd pay it off today. Not the credit cards. I'm talking about pay off the cars, pay down the house, something that of value, make it make sense. Or, if you want to refinance, now is the time to refinance anything you have because you have an official work for the next 2 years. But the 24 months, that person also needs to be what? Pivoting to switch. They need to massively be pivoting to switch. Like, what else can I be doing for my career, for my livelihood, for my family? Because Kellogg's is closing in 2026. You should be, if you're at work at Kellogg's in Nebraska right now, you should be, let me head over to the community college and find 3 things I can do. Is it going to be in healthcare? Is it going to be in construction? Is it going to be roofing? Is it going to be repairs? What is it going to be? Because this is what's going to happen. These people are going to hope Kellogg's changes their mind for 24 months. That's what they're going to hope. They're going to hope for 24 months. Maybe, just maybe, Kellogg's will change its mind and we can petition and the union can lower wages and they'll stay. And I'm like, that ain't happening, baby. Pay it off. Whatever you got. Pay your car off. Pay that house down a little bit. If you get really focused for 24 months, you'd be amazed at what you can do. You'd be amazed at the investment. I mean, like, living in some of these towns are so cheap. These people could literally own 1 or 2 more properties where they live and be just fine. Right? They could own 2 or 3 properties across state line and be fine. They could literally have a certain amount of money in their retirement dividend stocks and they would be fine. The cost of living is so low. But when you get used to a way of living, you'll keep trying to live at that level. That's just simple as that, right? So those are some of the things that I wanted to highlight. New Yorkers, the Blacks in the immigrant conversation, DELL, Microsoft, why you need to leave. If you're not making it here, baby, it's okay. Listen, you give something 2 to 5 years and it don't work like you want it to work. It ain't set off like it should be. It's okay to learn and pivot to the next thing. It's okay. Right? A lot of times people complain, well, people always jumping from thing to thing. And it's like, no, I don't. Every 10 years, you should be growing and changing as a person. Truthfully honest, every 5 years. Every 5 years, somebody should come up on you and be like, oh my God, look at you. Look at your clothes, look at your hair, look at your whatever. Like you should be different. No one should walk up on you 20 years later and be like, you got the same haircut and the same style clothes. Man, look at you. No, that's not healthy, right? And so Americans right now are going through a wake up of like, damn, we might need to change our clothes and change our hair. We may need to change our skill set. That's what's kind of happening right now. And so I hope this video was informative. Hope it was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I know I've been on a extended vacation and I appreciate all the messages and the emails and the concerns. I'm always just trying to make sure you guys understand that starting businesses or doing a startup or different things requires your full attention as much as possible. Much as I enjoy these videos, I have to put the work in and also enjoy my vacation while I can. So, you guys, this is your Ericka Classy Clown blog. Hit us up in the comments if you have any questions later.
Automation and artificial intelligence are changing the world forever. Without the correct skill set, you will become obsolete. My name is Dr. Patrick Dixon. I research how millions of people will lose their jobs unless they retrain.